Hello, I'm Mac, at least for a day, and everything's going to be okay. I wanted to do this video to just talk briefly about some exciting news that we got from Media Molecule. They recently tweeted that they are starting playtesting for virtual reality in dreams. Now, we knew this was coming because, of course, we can use the Move controllers to edit dreams. So we knew that they had always intended dreams to be usable with VR, but of course the VR wasn't enabled when the full release came out, and I was concerned that maybe they wouldn't end up doing it, but I'm really excited that they are going to start doing it. Now, the playtesting is... it's only, they're asking for volunteers, but it's only people in the European Union right now to sign up for the alpha or beta of the VR, whatever they're calling it. So obviously I won't be able to check out the VR yet because I'm not in the European Union. Also, it'll be a while before we even know what the VR is like, how well it works, because they're also having the volunteers sign a non-disclosure agreement, so they won't be able to tell or show us anything about how the VR works. I personally, I'm not too excited about editing dreams with VR. It does sound kind of cool to be able to have a VR cam, my VR headset, while I make dreams, but it wouldn't really change things much, I don't think. It's already really easy to move around 3D space with the Move controllers and move objects and edit your dream. I don't think having the VR headset on for that would really help, but I am really excited to be able to make games in dreams that are specifically for VR. So basically games that use first person, and thankfully we already have characters designed for first person. So that would be really cool. I would love to make a game designed for VR in dreams, like probably, you know, a game that has like great big spectacle going on around you while you walk around in VR and just see all the crazy things going on. I mean, there's already plenty of dreams that would be good for VR. There's lots of first person, and it's exciting that potentially every dream that's already on Dreams would become a VR game. Like, you could just play it and I guess your head would be wherever the current camera is. It's going to be interesting to see how third-person characters work for that and everything. How the movement of the camera of your head is going to work with all of that. There are some concerns because obviously VR can cause nausea in some people. So I'm not sure how they're going to avoid that, because some dreams, especially dreams made by people that aren't very experienced, will have the camera going all over the place really crazy because they've, I don't know, used an action controller animator to move the camera around, and so the camera shakes all over the place, or physics freak out and the character ends up getting launched through the air. A lot of that could very easily make people sick if they're playing it in VR, which obviously is a risk that you take. But the question is, what standards will Sony impress? I don't really know this, but I get the impression that Sony has certain standards for VR. I know that there's like a required 60 frames per second in order for a game to have VR support on PlayStation, but there's also, I mean, I would think they probably have some standards for, you know, not making people sick, because they have to put out, you know, warnings on a VR game for legal reasons to warn you that this could make you sick and everything. And I would also guess that, therefore, Sony and or Media Molecule would be liable if people got sick a lot playing their game in VR. So I'm wondering how they're going to deal with that. Are they going to require players that make dreams to have a certain standard for a dream before VR can be enabled for it? I don't know. They may just let anybody use VR for any dream that they want, and they just have to be aware that it could make them sick if the creator of the dream, you know, made it so that it's going to make them sick. Whatever, I don't know. I'm just rambling. I'm really excited though. This is the next big step. I mean, if you've played my game I'm currently working on, Starfall, you know that in that I do kind of a tongue-in-cheek... why don't I just show you? I did something... I've showed this in another video, but why don't I just show you what I'm talking about? Yep, Starfall Part 1. I'll just skip to the part I'm talking about. Right here. So I did something, it was kind of a wish list or some kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing to Media Molecule to try to get them to hurry up and make VR in Dreams.
What the actual heck?
Skip to that. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. When Dreams first came out way back in 2020, people used to play things called video games. But once they added VR and online multiplayer, Dreams really exploded. Everything from games, music, and movies, Dreams became the #1 platform for entertainment. That's why the Dreams archives were chosen to go with us on the ARC ship, so we would never run out of things to do. So I kind of said that if Dreams adds VR and also online multiplayer, it's going to become the biggest video game making platform in the world, and everyone's going to love it. And kind of a joke, but I was basically just really hoping that they would add VR and also online multiplayer. I honestly think online multiplayer is more important for Dreams than VR. VR will be cool, but not everyone has a PSVR headset, and not everybody wants to play VR. So I don't think adding VR for Dreams is going to make as big of an impact as online multiplayer is. Multiplayer is the thing they really need to do. We can have multiplayer games in Dreams, but you can only do couch co-op. Someone has to be sitting there with you with another controller in order to play multiplayer. But if they could finally get a system set up where you can play with other dreamers on games online multiplayer, I think that would really make Dreams explode, because then people could design games specifically for multiplayer, and then certain multiplayer games would get really popular, and people would play those Dreams specifically because they're really fun for multiplayer. For instance, combining the multiplayer and the VR, it'd be really cool if people made VR chat games in Dreams. That's definitely possible, except I think it's going to be limited to 4 players. So you could basically make a VR chat lobby with 4 players, and you could talk to and see people with VR on, but there would only be 4 people in there. And you could have other characters that aren't actually players that make it look like there's a whole bunch of people in there doing VR chat, but there's really only 4 players. I'm pretty sure that 4 players is going to be the max. But anyway, I'm gonna finish rambling. I'm really excited to see what else Media Molecule does, including the VR, and hopefully someday online multiplayer. So anyway, I have been Mac. Thank you for joining me for a day. And remember, everything's going to be okay.